Hi, I'm Carson Devitt with PCN, and today we are in Towamensing Township in Carbon County. And most of you watching this probably spent your education in different classrooms, different grades, and even different buildings. But in the 1800s to the mid-20th century, you would have spent your entire school day in a one-room schoolhouse, just like this schoolhouse behind me. This is the Kibler Schoolhouse, and it was built in 1898 for $460. And today we're going to be talking about its history. So today I'm here with Roy Christman, and you were actually a student here before, weren't you?
Yes, I was.
What
Yes.
grades and what year?
I went to second and third here. That would have been from 1948 to 1950.
And can you tell us maybe just one of your fondest memories as a kid as we enter into the schoolhouse?
Yeah, I would say, like most kids, my fondest memory was recess. We'd come out here and play games. We had recess in the morning, then a lunch break at noon, and then an afternoon recess.
What kind of games would you play at recess?
We invented our own. If it was in the wintertime and there was snow, we had a game called ring tag. We also invented a game called Hungry Deer, which was a combination of track and football, an incredibly rough game. Boys and girls both played. Yeah, that was a nice time.
So what do we see as soon as we enter into the schoolroom?
Well, obviously the blackboard, where we spend quite a bit of time. We have a map of the world. We have a flag with 48 stars. We have a very large heater here. The heater burns either coal or wood. The teacher would have the older boys go out and bring the coal in. Our school burned coal. In the wintertime, it was neat. If your clothes got wet, you could just put them over the top, and by the next time you wanted to go out, they were all dry.
And this was used to heat the schoolrooms in the winter?
It was. If you sat back here, you roasted. If you were up in the far corner, you froze. It wasn't a great heating system.
So I kind of want to talk about this school itself. How did it get here, and how old is it?
It was built in 1896. It was on a corner about a mile to our east. The family that owned the building, the lot, said that they were going to develop the lot, and the Pomerton Area Historical Society could have the school if we moved it.
And what school district is this school a part of?
Well, when I went, it was each township had their own. There were 9 schools in all. There are still 4 of them, I think. One of them is getting renovated by the Towamensing Township Historical Commission. When the schools were decommissioned, everything inside was sold. So when we asked for desks, a lot of people had desks in their barns, in their attics, and so everything was moved back. When we got the school, it was completely empty.
And that's your school picture right there,
This
isn't
is
it?
my school picture from 1950, and you can see the name of the school is Kibler. This is me. I'm the only kid with glasses. There's our teacher, Mrs. Hessinger. As you can see, there's quite a few kids for a one room, quite a few.
What was the teaching style like in a one-room schoolhouse?
You did one grade at a time. Like if she was doing the second grade lesson on spelling, the third graders would sit here and do homework. At one time, all 8 grades went to one room. At that time, the classes were obviously very small. The kids who were doing their lesson would sit in the front row, and then the other kids, all other 7 grades, would be very quiet.
And so she would sit up here, and this is mainly where she would teach the class from. Is that right?
Yes.
What kind of materials did she teach with, since we didn't really have...
We had spelling books, arithmetic books, things I guess kids have today. There was a lot of work at the board, especially for arithmetic. You'd come to the board, you'd do problems at the board.
And did she teach you guys cursive, music? What were all the subjects she was teaching?
This thing here, you could, well, here's an example. So you could have a staff for music, or you could practice writing. And yes, we learned cursive.
Did you guys learn math, history?
We had limited subjects. We had history, and we had spelling. Spelling was big. Geography. I don't know if they still teach geography. This is a map All the schools had maps. This one, as you can see, all the African countries were still colonies. Belgian Congo. Namibia was part of South Africa then. Some teachers used physical punishment. We have some examples of paddles over here. This one is really scary because of the noise.
So what kind of things would you get punished for in school?
My 4th, 5th, and 6th grade teacher was a very large man, and he would punish you for talking when the lessons were being given, or just misbehaving. You know, kids, 5th, 6th graders misbehave. But you didn't misbehave much if you had this threat.
Now, the way that the desks are kind of laid out, did that make it harder to learn? Was that a disadvantage as well?
I was in the double desks like these right here. My desk mate for 2 years was Mickey Simpson, and we got along very well. The little desks that you see, those were when the school had all 8 grades, and the little ones were for the little kids, because you had first graders with 8th graders. So, yeah.
Well, so what was it like to be a student, sitting in these desks, listening to your teacher? Take us there.
You learned to read a lot. At least I did. I read so many books. When I was in 4th, 5th, and 6th grade, I read every book in the school library. And that habit's ingrained. I read probably 2 books a week.
Earlier you mentioned that you really enjoyed recess. Was there anything here that you didn't enjoy?
Yes, I did not enjoy penmanship. We used something called the Palmer method of business and writing, where you practiced over and over writing letters, and I was not very good at cursive, which is why when they say kids they don't teach kids cursive anymore, I think, thank goodness.
Yeah, I never personally learned it either. I just had to learn how to write my name.
Yeah.
Well, talk about maybe some of the other disadvantages to learning in this setting.
I think there were two big ones. The one is that if you were a kid with learning disabilities, there was no special ed for you, no special teaching. That was a problem. The other disadvantage was if you had an interest in music or in art, unless you had an exceptional teacher, you did not get any lessons there. Before we leave, can I show you the jug?
Of course, yeah.
This is where we drank. Everybody drank out of the same cups. Fortunately, when one of us would get mumps, everybody in the school got mumps. Everybody in the school would be out for a week.
Now, I noticed there wasn't any other rooms in there. Obviously, it's a one-room schoolhouse. So is this where you would go to the bathroom if you had to go?
Yes. When you went to an outdoor toilet in the wintertime that was not heated, my sister was 4 years after me, and she said the best thing about her new school was A, it had a cafeteria, and B, even better, you didn't have to go outside to use the bathroom.
So does this bell over here, does this signal the start of the school day?
The bell was from one of the schools that later burned, and it was moved into the new school, and it was in the way. So they gave it to the Palmerton Area Historical Society. Some kids from the Technical Institute in Carbon built the platform for it to practice their bricklaying skills. Kibler School did not have a bell. Do you want me to ring it?
Yeah, sure.
Okay, we ring it by pulling the clapper. And it definitely, you can hear it for a long way.
Maybe what were some of more of your fondest memories? I know we mentioned them earlier, but I'd love to hear just a few more of your favorites.
I had really good friends in the one-room school. Now then, the whole class went to high school together too, but I have friendships that I still have. When you're sitting with a kid for all day long, day after day, you become friends.
So how is the Kibler's history preserved today?
We have a group of 100 volunteers who donate $15 a year minimum. That provides money for the upkeep, the electricity. The school is open every Sunday in the summer from 1 to 3. It's free. You can come and see it.
And anyone can come and see this inside of the school?
Yes, if they want to come in an off period, they should contact the Palmerton Area Historical Society. We have docents who give tours.
Awesome. Well, thank you very much, Roy, for sharing all of your memories and your experiences that you had here at the Kibler School. I really appreciate your time today.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah.
It's fun.
And thank you guys very much for watching this tour of the Kibler School on PCN.